With us now is another Donna. That's right, Donna Drake and Donna Haigh is with us now. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, Donna. Thanks for having me.
Now, how did you get your name? How did you get your first name? Were you named after somebody? Or?
No, I wasn't. It's just a name my mother always loved.
Okay.
So when she had me back in the day when you didn't know, it was always going to be Donna.
Lovely.
Yes.
And for me, my father thought that there was this girl that he went to high school with that was really pretty. But a lot of times people think that it's the song. So do people come up to you and they sing, you know, oh, Donna?
They used to.
Yes, not as much anymore.
Not as much anymore since I'm dealing a lot more with younger home buyers.
Understood.
So they don't quite understand the same
connection,
things that you and I may understand.
The connection. Speaking of connections, you are known for being an agent, also a broker that makes a connection with your home buyers, your home sellers, and those that you're training under you to become great agents. Where does that start, Donna? How do you build that rapport, that relationship in your business as a real estate professional?
You have to ask questions, but more so than that, you have to listen to the answers.
Okay.
And I take copious notes, always have, whether it's in my phone or old school on a piece of paper, so that I always remember things that either a seller or a buyer is going to tell me and talk to me about. Because when you're buying a home, it's your largest purchase.
Yes.
And you want to make it feel personal and make the right decision. So it's all about what they tell me, and then I can take that information and expand on what they may be looking for.
Do you remember your first home?
I do.
What was it like?
Oh my gosh. It was in Morris County.
Okay.
I now live in Somerset County, so it was a little further south than my first home. And it was back in the late 80s. The market wasn't the best, but guess what? People buy houses regardless of what the market's like. And we found it by walking around the neighborhood.
Wow.
And we were like, that one looks nice. And the real estate agent we were working with, this is so old school, would drop listings in our mailbox so that we knew what came on the market, because that was in the late 80s and there was no such thing as technology like we have it today.
My first home, I think, was like a 10% interest rate.
Mine was 12.
Okay. Because I remember my first home too was 235 St. Regis, and I loved it. It was simple and cute, but it's really a person's personality that makes a house a home.
Absolutely.
So in all the years that you've been working, I'm sure you have great success stories of people that you've been able to give that key to that have brought you joy. Anything come to mind, like a certain couple or a certain situation where you say, wow, that was special to you?
There's so many. It's the first time home buyer, somebody who's newly married and just looking for their first home, or somebody that, because New Jersey real estate is so very different than any other states. When people are relocating from the Midwest and they get culture shock and then sticker shock, or people from California who don't have sticker shock but they have property tax shock. So there's always a story in making sure that you realize the dreams of what the people, but I have a tendency to become friends with a lot of people that I'm working with. So I just had my client appreciation party, which I do every year, and I have it at the Somerset Patriots Ballpark, which is a New York Yankees affiliate. And we had 60 people there that have been past clients. There's kids. Then some of them had kids that were babies when I sold them the house, and now they're in middle school. So that's always nice, because you maintain that relationship, because that's what it's about. And majority of my business does come from referrals from past clients. So it's always nice. And then I try to keep in touch with them also throughout the year.
And that's why you're good at what you do. Because earlier we were saying about it's that connection. So it's not just building it, not just listening, but then it's maintaining that relationship so that they know that they can rely on you and depend on you and your expertise. Because you're right, the real estate market, especially now, like what's happening now, people are like a little leery now, where everybody else was like listing their houses. What's the hesitation, and how can we put their mind at ease? Do you think now would be an okay time to list?
Absolutely. And part of the reason is, no, we're not going to see the 2%, 3% mortgages that we've seen in the past. We're at 5.25% right now. Okay, this morning, the market's taken a little bit of a hit, because I always have my pulse on that, so I know where interest rates may go in the way of mortgages. They may creep up a tad, but I always say, what we're seeing now is that the first-time home buyer, instead of looking at a $300,000-$400,000 house, 5 to 7 year plan, first-time home buyers have bumped that price up, but they're 15 to 20 years out. That's how long they're planning on staying in their house. So
longer home.
They didn't do the trade up.
Right.
So, that's what we've been looking at, and we're still finding that. So even though with the lack of homes, remains low on the market, there's still buyers out there. I still have even rentals that are looking at multiple offers in homes. You know, we're not seeing 20, 30, which is good. It's a lot. We're
Yeah.
seeing 4 or 5, and the sellers are realizing list price, if you price it properly and don't try to inflate it, or you're seeing slightly above list price as your sales price. So the seller's going to net what they really wanted to net and to move on to the next phase they're looking for.
When somebody wants to list their property and they reach out to you, how do you gently explain to them, like how to clean up their clutter or things that need to happen in order for that home to sell correctly?
It's about the first meeting.
Okay.
You go in, you meet, you look, you have a conversation. I can offer staging services. I can offer my personal opinion. We can do full-blown staging where we take your furniture out and we bring new stuff in. I have several different stagers that I work for that, or we can work with what they have currently in their home. And so it really depends on each individual situation. And when you're talking about statistics where staging will realize you more on the net sale of your house, and you bring those numbers with you, you know, the seller's like, now I see, yes, the investment is worth it.
I love that because I love those shows. Do you watch all those shows?
Of course I
I
do.
watch HGTV, Flip It, Love It, Leave It, you know,
Absolutely.
all of them, because I also think it's so fascinating. And there are things that you can do to make the transition a little bit easier for everybody, whether it's a moving company, whether it's like storing extra things in a pod. You know, what about pets? You know, I sometimes people that are looking to buy a home might have an allergy to a certain pet, right? What do you suggest for pet owners in that instance?
Steam clean their carpets.
Okay.
Number one, make sure the pets are out of the home when you're showing house. Cats may be a little bit more difficult, or birds, but dogs should be easily removed from the house. But if you have hardwood floors underneath your carpeting, pull them up.
Okay.
People want hardwood floors.
Refinish the hardwood floor.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
You can do 1 or 2 rooms, make it look fantastic, remove the allergens from the home, and you'll open it up to a larger pool of people that'll be interested.
Not many people, I don't think, smoke in their home anymore, but that's
don't
also
think so.
important, right? If you happen to be a smoker, this might be a good time to quit, or
With the price of cigarettes, yes.
or actually just wash down and sanitize your wallpaper or recoat your walls with something fresh.
Yes, recoating the paint will help. Having a nice candle in there, because you don't want too many fragrances, because then a buyer's going to walk into the house and say,
Woo.
all right, I smell, why?
Yeah.
So you don't want that, but a fresh coat of paint will certainly go a long way. And never smoking in the house again, keeping the windows open when the weather's nice and you can get a breeze through, all things that you can definitely do.
Lovely. Thank you, Donna, for joining us. Continued success to you as a
Thank
real
you.
estate professional. It was fun to have you on and enlightening, and it's a topic that I'm always interested in. I think I've lived in maybe 7 or 8 homes, but I know I'm not in my final home yet, right? Because I just love houses. I wish I could have like 4 or 5 of them. Anyway, thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Such a pleasure.
Thank you. Stay tuned for more. We've been living it up right here, and I'm sure that you're making your house a home just because of the love that you put in it. Stay tuned.